Welcome back to Narrowview Stories. Some horror movies try to scare you with monsters, but this one scares you with truth. Hellfire isn't just a supernatural thriller. It's a kind of story that slowly creeps into your mind and makes you uncomfortable, because the real horror isn't the fire. It's guilt. At first, it looks like a simple mystery about a man trapped in a strange town. But the deeper the story goes, the more disturbing it becomes. Every character is hiding something, every death has meaning, and by the end you realize the movie was never about survival. It was about confession. So in this video, I'll break down the full story, explain the hidden rules of the town, and the shocking meaning behind the ending. Let's step into the fire. This is a complete story of Hellfire. Sit back, because this one gets dark. Hellfire, a revenge movie directed by Isaac Florentine, is so reminiscent of the 1980s it almost smells of napalm. Through Burt Reynolds and Malone, Stephen Lang's anonymous, eerily drawn, Vietnam veteran vigilante persona is reminiscent of Clint Eastwood's Man with No Name. This type of low-budget film isn't afraid to show off its extreme conservatism and pull yourself up by your bootstraps mentality. Where a good guy with a gun can stop a bad guy with a gun, this is the America your rough-and-ready uncle dreamed of, or an entire community full of them. If you're only looking for the cheap dynamics of a DTV action movie, Hellfire is a decent time. However, it could be hindered by inadequate quality overall, and its nostalgia has a certain allure. The writing by Richard Lowry is basic, but largely in a way that makes room for the main character, Lang, who is broken, sweating, and bruised to slay a lot of bad guys. It's not difficult. Hellfire, a revenge movie directed by Isaac Florentine, is so reminiscent of the 1980s it almost smells of napalm. Through Burt Reynolds and Malone, Stephen Lang's anonymous, eerily drawn, Vietnam veteran vigilante persona is reminiscent of Clint Eastwood's Man with No Name. This type of low-budget film isn't afraid to show off its extreme conservatism and pull yourself up by your bootstraps mentality. Where a good guy with a gun can stop a bad guy with a gun, this is the America your rough-and-ready uncle dreamed of, or an entire community full of them. If you're only looking for the cheap dynamics of a DTV action movie, Hellfire is a decent time. Despite the fact that it is hampered by generally subpar quality, its nostalgia has a certain allure. The writing by Richard Lowry is basic, but largely in a way that makes room for the main character, Lang, who is broken, sweating, and bruised to slay a lot of bad guys. It's not difficult. Hellfire by Isaac Florentine is as complex as a Chuck Norris meme. They used to create Chuck Norris memes about superhumans like Lang's persona. He is a former Green Beret who, for whatever reason, is reluctant to reveal his name or any other relevant information, yet he has the ability and will to defeat entire armies with only his cunning. The arrival of the vagrant coincides with the local cocaine cartel intensifying its reign of terror, which is fortunate for the residents of the made-up town of Rondo, Texas. At the risk of hyperbole, it's safe to say that the plot of Hellfire lacks any and all sense of reality. On the surface, this situation doesn't seem too unusual. After all, the basic narrative of many Western and samurai films is the story of a drifter who decides to defend and protect the defenseless onlookers in a tiny town. But if you look closely, this item can go from adorable and endearing to completely insane in a matter of seconds. If it weren't for an opening title, the fact that Hellfire is set in the 1980s would actually go unnoticed. This is the only indication of the historical period. That's little potatoes, to be fair, but the film's lack of consideration is evident, even in the villain Jeremiah, a soporific Harvey Keitel. In a town so economically depressed that the local saloon has a cardboard sign, there's a flamboyant mafioso in an extravagant estate. His more urban, East Coast feel is completely out of date, and his business is cocaine. Out of their neighborhood brewery, Jeremiah and his kin make and transport cocaine in plain sight, using a specially made canbe. The procedure spreads readily. Absurdly so. It appears that the entire town is controlled by this drug organization, and Dolph Lundgren, the local sheriff, is actively involved in the cover-up. Additionally, he appears to be the sole police officer. Owen, played by Chris Mullinax, the saloon owner, gives Lang's character the nickname Nomada when he first appears, and it sticks. Nomada offers his general repair abilities in return for bed and board, but Owen's daughter Lena, Scotty Thompson, is anxious about his presence. She fears that his presence will worsen the situation for the town's mafia, who are so strong and paranoid that they quickly bar any outsider from entering. Given how everyone is discussing the outsider, it almost looks as though Florentine's movie will take a supernatural turn and unveil some even more sinister local secrets. However, it's much more than just meat and potatoes, with one elderly homeless person causing everyone to reach threat level 10. In any event, after one night, Nomada tries to escape, but he turns into John Wick and takes down everyone after seeing Lena being thrown around by Jeremiah's son, Clyde Michael Ciro. Anyone who has seen an action movie in the past 60 years won't be surprised by any of the moves in this movie, but the combat scenes are well shot. Therefore, it's unfortunate that every aspect of the craft is otherwise appalling. Hellfire appears to have been filmed in a pharmacy aisle due to its excessive lighting. Distracting and generic, the music has a unique characteristic of generative AI. The sound effects are as realistic as an Adam West Batman episode, which is unintentionally funny. It's safe to say that Hellfire is only as enjoyable as your tolerance for bog-standard action fare, but Lang truly goes for it here and does his best to sell the material. Nomada, who rejects even harmless handouts like a blanket to keep warm, is a cartoon representation of the conservative ideal of the impoverished. Now we move to the story. The story begins with a drifter named Marcus Hale, a former firefighter who lost his wife and daughter in a mysterious house fire 10 years ago, a fire investigators ruled unexplainable. Since that day, Marcus has been haunted by the same nightmare: a burning town, people screaming, and shadows walking inside the flames. While driving across the country, Marcus' car radio suddenly turns on by itself. A distorted emergency broadcast repeats one message. The town looks frozen in time. No cell service, no internet, no working clocks. And the strangest part? Everyone stares at Marcus like they've been waiting for him. At the diner he meets Lena, a waitress who warns him, "You shouldn't stay past sunset. The town changes." Before Marcus can leave, his car won't start. The road he came from is gone. That night, the power cuts out. Then the sirens begin. Not police sirens, fire sirens. But nothing is burning until the ground cracks open and flames rise from the streets. And inside those flames, figures walk, not burning, watching. The first victim. A man runs into the street screaming that he sees his dead brother in the fire. The flames shape into a human silhouette, calling his name. He walks toward it, hypnotized. Marcus tries to pull him back, but the man smiles peacefully and steps into the fire. Instead of burning, he turns into ash instantly. No smoke, no scream, just gone. Lena whispers, "The fire doesn't kill you, it judges you." The truth about the town. Marcus discovers the town records. Every resident officially died decades ago in different accidents across the country. Yet they are alive here. Ash Hollow is not a town. It's a prison. Everyone trapped there survived something they shouldn't have. And the fire comes for them one by one, forcing them to relive the moment they escaped death. If they accept the truth, they vanish peacefully. If they deny it, they burn screaming. Marcus connection. Marcus learned something horrifying. The fire that killed his family started in Ash Hollow, but the town burned down in 1875, meaning the fire is over 150 years old. He finds a journal belonging to the town's founder, a preacher named Reverend Calder. The journal reveals the town worshipped purification through suffering. They believed sin could only be removed through fire. So they burned a woman accused of witchcraft. As she died, she cursed them. "Your souls will burn until truth is faced." That night, the entire town burned. But instead of dying, they were trapped between life and death. The rules of Hellfire. Lena explains the rules. Every night at midnight the fire returns. It chooses someone hiding from guilt. They must confront their truth. The fire feeds on lies. And Marcus realizes something. Everyone in Ash Hollow survived death because someone else died in their place, including him. The memory he buried. Marcus finally remembers the night his family died. He fell asleep while smoking. The cigarette started the fire. His wife woke and saved their daughter, but Marcus ran outside in panic. He heard them screaming and didn't go back. He told investigators he tried. He didn't. He's been running from that truth for 10 years. and Ash Hollow brought him here to face it. The final night. The town begins collapsing, meaning the curse is ending. But that also means everyone who hasn't faced their truth will burn forever. People start confessing secrets. A doctor who let a patient die to save himself. A cop who shot an innocent man. A mother who abandoned her child. Each confession turns the flames blue, releasing them peacefully. But those who lie turn into blackened shadows trapped in the fire. Lena's secret. Marcus realizes Lena never leaves the diner because she already died long ago. She was a woman burned as a witch in 1875. She isn't part of the curse. She's the jailer. She stayed to guide souls to acceptance, hoping one day someone would end it. Marcus asks how. She says, the one who started the fire must choose sacrifice over survival. Meaning Marcus must do what he didn't before. Run into the flames. The choice. The fire recreates his burning house. He hears his daughter crying inside. But this time, it isn't memory. Her soul is trapped in the curse because of him. Marcus stands outside shaking. Exactly like before. But now he understands. The curse isn't punishing them. It's forcing truth. He runs into the burning house. The flames don't burn him. They show every moment of his life, every lie, every fear. At the center he finds his daughter. She asks, "Why didn't you come back?" Marcus finally says the truth. "I was afraid." And hugs her. The fire turns white, breaking the curse. The town ignites completely. Every soul appears in the streets. Instead of screams, silence, because acceptance ends the fire. Lena smiles as the sky turns to dawn for the first time in 150 years. Ash Hollow disappears. The ending twist. Marcus wakes up on the highway. Police say he was found unconscious beside his car, no town nearby. They say he was only gone for 10 minutes. But Marcus notices something. His burn scar is gone, and in his pocket is the old 1875 coin from the town. Then the radio turns on again. A new emergency broadcast. "Welcome to your second chance." Marcus smiles. Not everyone who survives is meant to escape. Some survive to change. And that was a story of Hellfire, a reminder that sometimes the scariest place isn't hell. It's the truth we run from. If you enjoyed this full recap, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more cinematic story breakdowns right here on Narrowview Stories. Until next time, sleep carefully, because some fires don't burn your body. They burn your past.